What's happening, y'all? It's Justin Lamar, aka Juice Daddy J, and today we're talking about image. Now, image. What is image? The way I break it down is two different things. I look at first, how do you view yourself? And then I look at how do others view you. Your image is primarily how other people are going to view you. You don't even have very much control over how other people view you. However, you do have control over how you view yourself. And there are some things that you can do as far as your routine or just things that you already embody as whoever you are as a person, your character. But to get the ideal image that you guys would like, you would most likely need to first look at how you view yourself and then look at how others view you. I think once you get past those two things, the next thing you should look for is that middle ground. The middle ground is so simple and it's easy to find. It's just what you want your image to be. You know, how do you want people to view you? Now, image is a lot more than just appearance. It can be verbiage, as in the things you do. It could be nouns, as in the events or the places that you go, right? It could just be simple as like gestures, expressions. A lot of these things carry some weight as far as your image, even if they are minuscule in comparison to a lot of other things that you could be doing. Let's say, for sake of example, I don't know, maybe you want to be considered charming. Okay. First thing I would do, I look at how I view myself. How far away from charming am I? Period. You don't got to go into too much detail yet, right? Then I'd look at what's people's idea of charming, right? I might type it in on some social media or look up the definition. You can do all kinds of things. You can look up how other people who you might think are charming, right, represent themselves. We can look at how other people would view you in terms of charming. Is he real close to charming? Is he real far off, right? So let's take that charming example a little further. And again, it's not about biting other people's style or whatever, right? But it's more so about figuring out what it is you have to do to achieve this ideal image. Let's try another example. Sophisticated. Let's say I want to have a more sophisticated thing going for me as far as my ideal image. First thing I look at is, based off what it looks like to me, am I closer to or further away from this goal than some of the other things that are part of my ideal image? Would people say that I'm closer to looking or appearing to be a sophisticated person versus am I a little further away? What does sophisticated look like to me? What does sophisticated look like to most people, and how far away am I from that? Secondly, it's only after you do all of this and then maybe a little bit more of internal reflection, more so planning for how it is that you plan to go about expressing this new image. A lot of times you'll see people maybe delete their entire pages in some cases for social media. You know, some people will just go back like me and delete some old posts and try to refresh some things. Maybe you want that more sophisticated look, so you take pictures or whatever posts in more sophisticated settings. You're doing more things that involve intellect. You're out and about a little bit more with people of that like mind. These things will help your image tremendously in terms of getting it to that ideal spot that you want. The hardest thing about image is you don't control the vast majority of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter what you wear, what you say, or how you represent yourself. To some people, you are what you are. That is always going to be a thing. You always have control over how you feel about yourself, though, which is why it's important for you to understand image, because if you can put something out here that you believe is, let's say, sophisticated and charming, and that's the ideal image, and you're coming across somebody who's not as open-minded to seeing you as someone that you could deal with whatever you got to deal with, but still internally be able to be sustained. You can be content with yourself regardless. Let's say it's a job interview. You want to come across as charming and sophisticated, sure. And that's also a part of your new image. And this job could potentially help that image even more. Whatever. But the person giving you the interview doesn't believe that you're a fit. And he doesn't believe, or she doesn't believe, that you're a fit because your image doesn't scream to them what it is that you think that you ideally represent. And there are going to be times when some people are just going to be dead wrong about you. There's going to be some times when people can see some things about you that you can't even see. But the reason image is important is because everyone has an image, whether you want to adhere to what other people think or not, whether you care or not. Everyone has an image, so it is important for you to at least know. You know, I'm a regular customer in several places, a lot more than just appearance or apparel. So I can't help myself being somebody, even a stranger, and I'm about to walk past them. I'm gonna ask how you doing. I'm gonna say what's up, top of the morning or something. I'm gonna greet you in some kind of way. A lot of people will see that as one thing or another thing, but either way, that adds to my image. Now, a way that it adds back is, since I'm a regular customer, let's say I always in this store or whatever's going on, and now I've gotten people to the point where they're speaking to me first. I've gotten to the point where people are familiarized enough with me to where they can actually interact with me beyond the image. After you figure out some of those things, it'll start to triculate the events you go to, into some of the apparel that you wear, and even into some of the ways that you carry yourself. Your swag will start to change slowly but surely, and as it gradually gets a little bit closer to your ideal image, you'll actually boost in confidence. You'll be in a lot better headspace. At least in my experiences, these are some of the things that I've found success with. As far as being image conscious, it's a very important thing in terms of putting yourself out there on social media in public, or even if you're someone that is quote unquote antisocial or standoffish, you still have an image. Now, the very last thing I want to speak on today, and I think is the most important thing about image, whatever your ideal image is, you do not want it to be super far off base from what your real life actually is. So if your image is associating with things that completely go against core values, this, that, and the third, it's only a matter of time before that facade gets broken. It's going to happen in a million different ways, and it can happen a million different times, just depending on what it is that you're trying to put out there for the people to consume. This is where a lot of people go down that rabbit hole of don't judge a book by its cover, only God can judge me, and so many other quotes that you hear. But the thing is, as true as these things are, they're not absolute, as in they're not the only thing that's true. It is also true that regardless of what you think or how you feel, what you believe, you still have an image, period. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I just want y'all to take some of that for food for thought, and be image conscious, because I believe a lot of you guys want to represent very well, but there might be some ways that you are really good at already and you just haven't exploited them yet. I'm just here to help, and hopefully we can have a discussion, y'all. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, maybe even subscribe, y'all. But until next time, peace.